All right, everybody, welcome back to the Healthy Funnel podcast. I've been calling it the Healthy Funnel Radio lately, and I am incredibly excited. I have one of my favorite people on the internet, and definitely in real life, if I could meet her. We were giving each other a virtual hug before we hopped on live, and I have the one and only, the incredible Toni Lee of The Business Planner. And Toni we were talking off camera, Toni, you've got an incredible story. And I just want to welcome you to the show and say thank you for jumping in and being willing to do this interview.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. And it's so funny. I'm so sorry. You did ask me before, say, are you ready? And I'm like, yep. I actually lost my voice. So if I talk and it tunes out, I actually lose my voice. So I'm so sorry. I'm just so pumped to be here. I'm just like,
I can hear you loud and clear. And you know what? I think that's just a sign of how hard you work. And I think people are going to get that from this interview of like, you are a relentless worker. And for backstory, Toni and I actually digitally met through a mastermind kind of program through Jeff Miller, who is absolutely an incredible guy. Helps us with Facebook ads, and people run ads agency, which is interesting because neither Toni nor I anymore even run an ads agency, but we were both trying to grow, right? Both just trying to grow, learn new skill sets. I at the time was building one, and I was like, this isn't my jam. But we met through there. Toni was amazing. She was helping just with really thoughtful comments and posts in there about how people can manage their business better. And I was like, this is like real life stuff. Like, this isn't like, hey, what's your ad copy or your ad creative? It was like, how do you like actually think about your business? So Toni, I'm so excited because I think it's something that we overlook as we get so caught up as entrepreneurs in this, like, how do I get my next client versus like, how do I think bigger about my business? And I would love to start, Toni, for anyone who's not familiar with you.
Yes.
You run the Business Planner, but you have like a myriad of things. And I would love to start with when you first got out of school, like, what was Toni doing? So you told me off air a couple of things about kind of what your life was like, but what were you doing right out of school?
Oh my gosh. So right out of school, I pretty much fell into the real estate industry. And then I met my soon-to-be husband, who was my boyfriend at the time. And we ended up working together when I was 21 years old until I was about 23. And then we split from the business realm. We stayed together. And then I brought a real estate agency at 24. So like I was the licensee director of an actual real estate agency when I was 24 years old. So damn bloody hard worker. Not many 24-year-olds or 25-year-olds actually go out and buy, a portfolio with like 130 properties to manage and all that sort of stuff. So so I didn't tell you that either.
Wait, Toni, take me back there, 24, which by the way, Toni, you're still super young. And I think that
so dumb.
I would love to know, like, did you have any business experience from then? Did you have people in your family that owned businesses? Were you pretty ingrained into the entrepreneur world, or was this sort of like, hey, I just jumped 2 feet in and I was just hoping I would swim?
Do you know what? I didn't know this until about 3 weeks ago. I was talking to one of my employees and she goes, "You're really good at business." I said, "Yeah, I'm really good." Like, yeah, I know. I don't toot my own horn, but she was just an employee. She was an employee and she just like said it. And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." Like, that's why we're here. And I sound so cocky and I'm not like that. And she goes, "Well, why?" And I said, "Well, when I was younger, I actually got given, so when you're in year 11 and 12, you can either go into university. So I think that's called college over
Yeah. No, same thing. Yeah.
University, or you can go out into the world and you can do your own thing. So in year 11 and 12, I didn't want to go to university because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I knew I loved tourism and hospitality. So I got offered like a TAFE program and was able to complete my diploma in tourism and hospitality. And I did that in 9 months instead of 2 years. And because of that, the local TAFE offered me a business development program. And I also got my diploma in business development by the time I was 16 years old. I had 2 diplomas from TAFE from in business and tourism and hospitality. So I just spiraled out of control with business. So
yeah. That's so cool. Wait, so all right, so you get into real estate. You're doing real estate for you have this what obviously is you take over a huge portfolio and you've got all this going on. I guess I would love to know, right? Because I think it's really interesting with stories. That's where you were at. Now today, you've got a whole nother business and you help people learn how to outsource and delegate. Will you
Yeah.
walk us through a little bit of like, hey, how did Toni go from, um, I mean, obviously a type of business most people would like, if you're in real estate, probably dream to like get to where you've got this huge portfolio, you're managing it. And then somehow fast forward to now where it's like, I've got my two separate businesses that I'm doing. What kind of went on in between before we get into what you do now and how it's so helpful? And I think there's probably gonna be some lessons in there that we can pull out.
Yeah, so it really ties in together because I had the real estate agency when I was 24. I sold it when I was 30 years old because when during that time my husband took some time off and he took a whole year off from life and he looked after himself and he did amazing things.
Mm.
And then after a year I was like, come on, buddy, start a business. You need to get back to work. Like I don't want to be the breadwinner anymore. Like you need to help. And so he did. He started up his local glass business, and he actually developed it, and I grew it behind the scenes. So not only was I running the real estate agency, I was also running his business, and I was doing everything behind the scenes for that. And in when I was 30, I sold. Oh no, I was 29 years old. I sold the business, and then built his business up, and then now we're like the second largest glass and aluminium business in our city, and we have a second location. We're the only glass company in our city that has a second location, and we have like a dozen employees, and we have 5 workshop like warehouses and stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
First question, Toni, is do you have a sister? Because I need to marry her. That's incredible. You just built like multiple businesses. Uh,
Yeah, we're a 7-figure business now. So like we started from startup and now we're a 7-figure trade industry business. Yeah.
wow, that's
Yeah.
man. And Toni, by the way, did you I know you have a kid. Did you have a
Yeah.
kid during that time or has this been since?
So we weren't able to fall pregnant when I had the real estate agency because it was so stressful and crazy.
Yeah.
And literally the moment I sold the company, 4 months later, we fell pregnant.
My gosh. But so while I guess my question was while building the glass company, you were
Well, I was already building the glass company with the real estate, sold the real estate, built up the glass company. Yeah.
oh my gosh. Okay. So I only ask that because I think so many of us we find I don't want to say excuses because they're
Oh,
we
yeah.
all have real life circumstances, right? And sometimes there are things out of our control. Um, but just based on and I'm sure that you know there's probably help and we'd never get there alone and all this kind of stuff. But the fact that like you're managing all of this, right? You have 2 companies, then you get rid of one or you sell one
Yeah.
and start another like this whole business of raising a child, right? Like there's this
Yeah.
whole thing with the class. Like I just think it's absolutely incredible. So that leads me into what I really would love to talk about today, which is the theme of the episode, which is how do you outsource like a boss, which is what
Yeah.
you've been able to do. Because I can imagine, could you have built both of these businesses and this glass business and what you're doing now just by yourself?
Absolutely not. Like, and that's the thing. I was doing it. I was doing it. Your people don't know, and I love to tell this story, and this is exactly how I go. So it was 2018. My husband and I, we had the 2-year-old, so he was only 2 years old at that time, and I was working 100-hour weeks, and he was working 85-hour weeks, and Dan was also working on the tools. So in our terminology, he means you're going out and you're installing, or you're manufacturing or fabricating, installing, going out, coming back, and still doing quotes, doing all the office administration, calling out clients, that type of thing. So for a guy, you're either one or the other. You're either in the office or you're out in the field. But doing both, it's just so much, right? And your normal working hours are 40-hour week for a tradie.
Right.
So combined, we were working 185-hour weeks, and I knew that something had to give. Our relationship was on the brink of like collapse. We were fighting with each other all the time. We couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. We hated our employees, and our employees hated us back. Our clients hated us, and we hated them because it was just so much pressure and whirlwind. And not only is all of that, where's our 2-year-old? Where's our little baby? Where is he? So, and you know, it's very, very painful, and it's so hard. I woke up it was in August 2018, and I'm like, something's got to go. And my husband, I actually sent him away. I know it sounds horrible. I didn't send him away in a bad way. I said, you need to go on a holiday with your man friend, boyfriend, or like whatever you want to call him. I call him boyfriend. Yeah. You need your boyfriend. Yeah. Go take him away. So we organized a little holiday. It was like one whole week. He went to Bangkok, right? So he went to Thailand, and we sent him away. When he came back, I fired 3 people. I changed the company around. I hired a virtual assistant, and I built the company up from that week on. So it was like the last week of July, first week of August. That's when I just cleared it all out. I was like, nah. He came back. He had to fire 1 person because I'm like, sorry, I've just done all this. I need to do the last one. And he's like, what are you doing? You're just firing people and you're just doing stuff. And I'm like, something's got to go. Something's got to change. I just woke up one morning, and that's what happened. And because I was already using virtual assistants, but I wasn't using them in a business. And like you and I know, like part of Jeff Miller's program, like in our world, we all have a virtual assistant, but they're to do lead gen or advertising or marketing or SEO. And I'm like, no. We need them to run our business. And like what you said earlier, like whenever I pop up in a group chat, I'll be like, what about this structure? Or what about this? I don't give a damn about your Facebook ads. I don't give a damn about getting the next client. I care about you, your business, your clients, your current clients that you got now, and your people that you employ. That's all I care about. I don't care about your Facebook ads, nothing, because we are now running solely with no ads for nearly 2 years now. And we are generating more money, more revenue, more income by the way that I do management of business. Oh man, I know, it's insane.
Yeah. It's so cool. Well, and that's why I wanted to chat with you, because I think, you know, in this space, in this world, it's so much like about getting clients, and which is great. Like you know, you have to be able to attract clients to stay afloat in the beginning, but at some point, it's like, hey, we got to really think about how are we actually running the ship.
Yeah.
How are we doing this? And I really am super curious, Toni. I have some specific questions. So first off, just for context sake, so we know that you're running your business, and it's really sort of from what you said, like the backbone is based on virtual assistants. For context now, like how many employees do you have? How many virtual assistants are working with you in your business? And like, I guess maybe for a lack of, maybe just an ignorant question, but like, what percentage of work do you think like the virtual assistant team does on a daily basis compared to, say, like you?
Yeah, awesome. I love this question. And it varies so much, because I'm a little bit over the top, because I'm like, can that be outsourced? Boom. So I have literally 14 virtual assistants. I had 25 about 2 months ago, because I was doing research data for the business planner and like building that business up. But I've let them go, and that was only like a 2-month a process anyway. So that's cool. So I had 25 virtual assistants at one time. I was like, and I actually hired 10 of them, and they all started on the one day. Because I wanted to know if my processes work. I wanted to know if my systems worked in hiring bulk. It was really cool. It was an experiment. Anyway, so at the moment I've got 4 main virtual assistants. I know I have to work this out. I've got 4 main virtual assistants right now. But the rest are all freelancers. So videographer, podcast editor. I know you teach me how to do it, but I outsource that too.
That's perfect. Hey,
I learned everything from you, found all the foundations, and then I outsourced the rest. So, so I have 3 graphic designers, and I have, because they're all different, like they all have different aspects, like some creativity, some dark, or some business orientated or corporate. So like I have that type of thing. And there's probably a few others I'm forgetting. Content writers, blog post editors, and that type of stuff. So, and social media, I forgot about social media. Missing. Yeah. So I have 5 regulars. But yeah, so it's really cool. Like I have, and the percentage of work that they do is really insane. So we have one lady, she's Marge, she's full-timer, she's 40 hours a week, and she does the main bulk of our glass and aluminium business, right? She is the hub, she's the heart, she's amazing, she's the boss. And I train her and I teach her and everything, and she does all of it. She's the reason why we just recently got so we're currently working with this government contract for a hospital up in Perth, which is a near location. Yeah. And we actually got let go from them because they were putting out into a tender type of process to repair all their windows. And because of the trainings and the systems I set up with her and the way that she communicates to those clients, we have now been able to feed back in, because we lost that contract. We've now been able to feed back in behind the scenes. Nobody knows that we're doing this, and I can talk because people don't know who we are. And
surprise, I'm the guy. I know, Toni.
Yeah,
I'm actually good. Busted. No.
Yeah, so by losing it because we lost it against a tender, we actually get it back because of the high quality service that Marge and our team were doing for that particular company. So we were just like, what the? And not only that, they're feeding us to their other off branches as well. So more revenue off that as well. So we're just like, this is insane. We need to hire another guy. We need to hire another technician because we can't handle the workload. Yeah.
It's crazy. I really like, that's incredible. So you've got, you've got someone so we've got five core virtual assistants, and then contractors, freelancers,
yep,
contractors as well. And you really, I mean, it sounds like you have one person too, one virtual assistant who's like, you know, kind of like the general manager running the show of this, which is, I guess my first question for you, Toni, is I imagine a lot of people, including myself, thinking the belief, right? The belief that, well, no one could do this like I can do, right? Mm-hmm. Did you ever go through that or work through that? And did you ever imagine you'd be where you're at now, where you can be like, actually, I literally just like hand off the things I have to do?
Yeah. My biggest thing is, so the answer is yes. My biggest thing was, my business is my baby. I had to work 100 hours a week to keep my baby fed. I had to make sure my baby was changed, cleaned every day, and I was there for it. Yeah. And it nearly killed me. Like, it literally nearly killed me. The moment I woke up, when I sent my husband to Thailand, the moment I woke up, I realized, what am I doing? It's a business. It's not your baby. And
you had an actual baby, right? You had like
I have an actual baby.
Yeah.
So why don't I look after him instead of, you know, this is a business. This is going to keep a roof over our head. This is going to feed us. So we're the baby. So why don't we like treat this as the company who can feed us, look after us, take us to places. That was a big breakthrough for me.
Man. So walk me through though, the first time that you're, you know, I think it's one thing, like, let's say a physical employee, you're there, you can see them, you can like, I don't know, maybe there's more, it seems more tangible, I think, for people in the beginning, where it's like, hey, if there's an issue, I can literally just sit them down in my office. We can hash this out. And I think especially maybe 5, 6, 7, even, you know, a few years ago, it might've been like, the concept of virtually sitting down with someone was a little like, can you do that for a business? I could see for an interview, but like, how did you work through the initial, like, maybe belief part of, hey, I can actually do this with a virtual team? Or was there a belief there? Were you confident right away this will work?
Well, that's the thing. I'm a realist. And I was like, hang on a second, I'm already using a virtual assistant for my website. I'm already using a virtual assistant for some SEO and stuff. And then it just clicked. Yeah. And I'm like, hang on a second, why is that any different? Stop it. Let's dive in. Let's just do this. I can't, and I'm very impulsive. So I'm just like, let's do this. I'm just going to try it. I don't care. I failed 3 or 4 times. So the very first thing I wanted to offload was social media. And I was like, cool, I'll advertise and I'll do this and I'll do that. I failed them that much. 2 quit on me. I let the 3rd one go. So I failed the first 2. I failed all 3 of them. But the first 2 quit on me, which is, I didn't realize at the time, but looking back on it, I was like, oh man, I let them down so bad. Yeah. And the 3rd one, I had to let go because I still couldn't communicate to them. And then the fourth one, Missy, my rainbow unicorn. But yeah, it took a while. It was a process. It took about 5 months.
I think there's one, like, I mean, we could, first off, for anyone, we have to hold Toni accountable to write a book, because I just would love to hear all that. Like, I would love to just dive into the failure piece, and maybe that's another interview for another day, where it's just like, how do you know, I think in our world, like, we're even, you know, working with a lot of coaches, consultants, people who are sharing their expertise. And so a lot of them are really great at the thing they come from, right? Like, so Toni, for you, it might be like building a glass and my poor American accent, aluminum business, right?
Oh.
I know, aluminium. I got to work on the way to say it right.
Yeah, I don't know how do you say it?
Aluminum is how we, yeah.
Aluminum.
You know why? It's because from England and all the places, like, we got, you know, people came over and they were like, well, you speak English this way, I'm trying to learn. And so we were just like, you know, what's easier? Aluminum. And they were like, yeah, okay, deal, right? They were just like, yeah. They're like, one less syllable, one less letter, like, let's just eliminate it. It's, you know, for us in America, we're about fast and saying it, get it going. I
just lazy and sit around.
I would love to ask you, Toni, like, when you're getting started, I think we have a lot of people who are like, you know, I'm getting overwhelmed. Maybe they're one-on-one with their services, or they're just feeling like overwhelmed. When you help people go through this process, we should talk about your business planner company, of how do you help someone figure out what's the first thing to delegate? I'm sure it's case by case, but like, what's the process you go through of like, what's worth outsourcing and what's not worth outsourcing?
Oh, I love this so much. And do you know what? Just for your people who's following here today, I'm actually going to give you my free worksheet as well, so you can actually start the process. So even if they don't want to contact me and they just want to know what to do and the understanding about it, this will actually, it's very simple. It's just like, I'll go through it right now, but it's very simple, but you just have to commit to it, right? And that's the hardest thing.
What's that word, Toni?
It's called commit. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's a new one. No, that's
yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
And it's not much. It's literally like 5 or 10 minutes a day, but it's for about 2 weeks, or as long as you want it to be, right? Usually people come to me and they literally have no idea where to start. And then I usually ask a few questions, and then I see a pattern, and then I can go down that way. But generally, like, for pre-qualifying my clients before they contact me, I say, hey, look, just fill out this form the next week or two and then get back to me. And they're like, wow, that's not what I was expecting, right? So the easiest way, and I'm just going to say it, I'm just going to bring up my worksheet if I don't.
Oh, absolutely. By the way, guys, if you want this worksheet and you're watching this live, or on the replay, just comment worksheet, and I'll make sure I snag it from Toni and we can get it to you. So just put worksheet in the comments. If you're watching this on the podcast, just shoot us an email at help@healthyfunnel.com, or just find us on Facebook, join our Facebook group, message me at Will Boyd or Alex at Alex and Gar, and we'll make sure to get it. Or find Toni if you want to learn more, to follow Toni Lee. Sorry, Toni, just want to give a little shout out plug as you pull it up to find Toni for help. But if you just put worksheet in, that'll give me like a ding. I can make sure I can go get it to you. So thank you so much, Toni, by the way, for even making this available for people.
Absolutely. And it's all about giving, right? Like, we, as business owners, like, there is so much out in the world right now, but there's nothing that actually, like, unless you stumble across it, or you don't know what you're looking for until it's there, right? So if this is something that can help at least one person, then, it's made my day. So absolutely fine. What I usually do is, like, I literally ask is, like, what is one thing today that your VA could have completed? Or what is one thing today that you could have outsourced? Like, yeah, okay, you might be the person or the only person that can run your business and run it, but I'm pretty sure there's something in there today that you could have outsourced, right? Whether or not it's be social media, whether or not it's bookkeeping, copywriting, emailing your clients, whatever it is. Like, you don't need to be doing all of it. And the moment that you stop thinking about your business being your baby and that you have to do everything, then you'll slowly start to understand that you don't actually have to do everything for your business. And we don't want to do all the crap, right? We only want to communicate with our clients or our customers, because that's the reason why we fell in love with the business, is because we love communicating to our clients and the services and the office, the products that we sell, because that's what we love, right? So if you really think about it, you do love your clients and you do love what you sell. You don't love your business. And that's what most people, the business aspects of it. And that's a really hard thing for people to understand. And I love to break it down. So the next question, so like you write a few things down. If you could write down 1, 2, or 3, amazing. Like even if it's just one is better than none. And the next step is we need to know whether or not it's a regular task. Okay, so how often is this? Is this a day thing, or is this a week thing, or is this a monthly thing? And then we break it down to how many times, right? So if it's per day, well, how many times per day? So I want somebody to be checking my email and checking all the Facebook messages. Or how many times a day do you want them to do that? How many times a day do you currently do that? So if you think, oh, okay, maybe I want once out every hour, on the hour, I need it checked and replied to. Well, then it starts to develop, well, you need a personal assistant, and you need a personal assistant who's probably a little bit more full-time or in the like 25 hour per week category, because you want them more regularly and you're going down that pathway. So instantly, I already know that's the type of virtual assistant you need. So it all depends. If you want somebody, you love to communicate via online like how we are, but you need graphical media compiled like every so often. So like in my Facebook groups that I have a graphic designer on standby, and I only want probably 2 or 3 things a week. So perfect, that's all I'm hiring. So you need to ascertain how many. So when we advertise for a virtual assistant, I'm literally going to say, how many hours per week do you want to hire this person for? And you're like, I don't know. I have no idea. But the process is, we need to know what jobs you want them to do. How many hours per week do you think you need them for? Because that's going to give you the foundations, right? And I'm a firm believer of, so this is all business. If you're hiring a local person and walking in off the streets, you're not going to advertise a full-time position for a bookkeeper you only know is 5 hours per week, right? Or a receptionist, or whoever is in your field.
Yeah.
You're going to know how many hours per week that they're working and what you want them to do. So why is a virtual assistant any different?
Yeah. A couple of things came to me through that, Toni, as you were talking. I think it's super important. One, just the power of, I wonder if you see this from your clients who you work with, that even just the thought process of you asking those questions makes me have to I have to reflect on, what am I doing with my time? Which I don't know how many I know you work with tons of business owners, so I'm sure you see it over and over again, where it's this, for me, it's like the realization of like, holy crap, that's what I do with my time. Like to have that, so many of us are just go, go, go. We don't even ever stop and like the way that we would observe someone else's behavior of like, well, what are you doing with your time? We don't actually like reflect it back on us of, well, what do I do with my time?
That's right.
Yeah. So that thank you for even just like posing those questions, because I think it really just starts our brains to think differently about like reframing what are we even doing with our business? What are we even doing with our time?
I know. And do you know what's really, really insane is I'm actually bringing up I'm a bit of a numbers girl, and I don't know if your people will be able to follow without like me having with a whiteboard or not.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing this up because this is absolutely insane. If you don't mind,
Oh, absolutely.
are we running out of time, or are we okay?
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Okay, all right, cool. And it's in relation to, so I'm literally bringing up my screen. It's in relation to time and how much time we actually spend on our day-to-day life, right? So I can't find my notes. I didn't plan on talking about this today, so this is really cool. I love this so much, right? So here we are, not being rude now. I'll get my screen. If you're wanting to like social media, right? Like if you're spending 1 hour a day on social media, right? And replying to comments or posting photos or doing the graphic design, whatever it is, that's 5 hours a week. Simple math, right? Times that by 52 weeks, we're looking at 260 hours out of the whole year that we're wasting on social media just by creating content or posting 1 hour a day that we're using, right? And I'm going to divide that by 8 hours because, you know, that's an 8-hour working day, right? That's 32 days. Okay. So if we wanted to do like that, yeah, I know,
That's
32
entire
days.
month. Yeah.
But that's Monday to Friday. No, that's not even Monday to Friday. That's Monday to Friday, like 6 or 7 weeks on a business scale.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Crazy.
Right? I know. And like everyone thinking, oh yeah, that's okay. I'm happy to do 1 hour a day. And I'm like, no, you're 1 hour a day. You could get 4 weeks annual leave right now.
Man. When you put it that way, yeah. You're like, how do I outsource this fast?
Yeah. Like that's the thing, right? Like I'm all about the family. I'm all about self, and I'm all about knowing your worth. And as business owners, we put our business first so much. And we need to start thinking about, well, hey, if I hire a virtual assistant for less than $10 an hour that can do social media posting so I can go work for an extra 1 hour a week instead of 5 hours a week, secure an extra client or a couple of clients in that 1 hour, then it's paid for itself, right? So we have to work out the numbers and
yeah. So let's dive into that real quick, Toni, because I think I have probably like two really important questions I'd love to ask. And the first one is, let's say someone, like, so when you were starting out, Toni, and let's say that you, or someone's starting a new business and right, maybe cash flow is not what you want it to be. And it's like, how do I think probably there's a big fear of, oh, I know I should outsource this, Toni, but I like to keep that little bit of extra money. We view it as a cost versus an investment. How do you actually help someone work through? Is it super like, let's get nitty gritty in the numbers? Let's prove out how this is going to be a return on investment. Is there a little bit of like faith and intuition of like, hey, trust me, you're just going to put your time, like give it a little bit. It will come back and it'll come back even like 4 or 5, 10 times over. How do you help someone work through that first, like it's not a cost, it's an investment type of conversation?
well, it's really funny that you say that. I actually don't work with startups because I've actually had so many like ways around this, and they're just too much. Like you just can't break them because. And I say this to Dan, my husband, all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could help this person so much. They just have to, and I go home and I literally have to get a wine and calm down and pour my glass because I'm like, I literally start crying because I'm like, oh my God, I could have helped them and I could have helped their family. And I'm like, Dan's like, my husband, he's like, here's your wine. I'm like, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I get to get so passionate because I'm just like, so
we have to outsource your caring. Like we need people caring for you.
My emotions are amazing, like too much. So, and that's the reason why I thought, because I get home and I get so upset about them. And I'm like, nah, I'm not working startups. Like I just can't do it. Like, sorry people, if you're watching, but if you want to talk to me, I'm more than happy to talk to you. But I know that there's a lot of fear that you have. So I usually like to work with people who have been operating for about 6 or 12 months or a little bit more than that, because they've gone through some pain, they've gone through their establishments, and they actually know what they want within their business. So you do have to qualify a little bit. I usually don't work with under 12 months. Usually you haven't gone through enough pain for me to actually help you. And pain, what I mean by that for people who are watching, shit, am I able to pay my bills in time? Holy crap, am I able to pay for my employees? Am I going to eat tonight? Holy dooly, I've just, worked 60 hours this week. That's what I mean by pain.
Yeah. I think that's it's such a good point. I think it's in general. And also, it's also one of those things where, and I kind of liken it to like dating. Like if you're, let's just say dating for the first time or you're young, like you don't even know what you're looking for, right? You're just like out there trying to figure out like, who am I? Like, what am I? Like you're just like in your first year of business, you're like, hey, I'm trying to figure out who I am, where's my value, what I can do. And like, there's like, you have to kind of go through that awkward pain. Some people get super lucky and sometimes it's not even just luck, but like they really like, they just come in with an environment, circumstances, whatever, that are great. But I'd say the vast majority, Toni, in our experience, like working with new business owners, is like, it's painful. It's a grind. There's like, it's unknown. It's a baby, right? You can read all the books, but like nobody can train you to raise a baby, I imagine, like until you're in it.
Yeah.
You know, which brings me to Toni. The last question that I really wanted to ask is, uh, so we've made the decision. We're gonna work with a virtual assistant team. How do you manage this on a daily basis? Like, how do you? I think there's a couple things. One, okay, so really a two-part thing. Is there a place that you like to go for new, let's say, people starting to hire virtual assistants, where you like to find them? I know there's all kinds of different places out there. Is there one that you recommend more than the other? And then two, how do you actually manage a virtual assistant? I think there's this concept of like, but they're like out there somewhere. Do I just email them? Do I need to set meetings like real employees? Like, could you walk us through a little bit of like your management style?
Yeah, absolutely. So answer question one, I'm not going to answer that. I'll actually screenshot you a list, and
Oh,
so that way your people can even have a look at it, and it's
yeah,
in there, it's in order. So absolutely. So instead of me rattling off all different names,
yeah.
I will give you the list. All right. So feel free to go through it, have a look. I've even, so my virtual assistant created the list and I think I've even, yeah, she's amazing. I think she even like put in information of each different online platform as well, so like their pros and cons and their prices and stuff like that, so even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys can have that list too. So just remind me tomorrow, because obviously it's nighttime over here, so I'm going to bed after this. So I'll do that tomorrow. Sorry, peeps. And the answer to your second one is, well, I'm a very hands-on girl. So as you all probably can tell, like I'm just like in it, and I will just do things. Or I never usually let anything wait until the next week. I'm very, very impulsive and patient, and I'm just like, nope, do it now. So I will actually do like pretty much like team meetings daily, right? But I know that's not, people can't do that. And I totally recommend weekly team meetings. Like how we're communicating now via Zoom or Skype's really good, or whatever other platforms out there. Is really, really amazing. So we do ours with our Marge, our main lady. I don't do it with my bookkeepers because they're all fine, because I train them every single day with any amendments that we have to do, but they're pretty much a full bottle. So we do weekly team meetings with our virtual assistants. I highly recommend that, but also have a structure. I might be a different office. Also have a structure. So like things that pop up during the week, you write it down. So you write down the date it happened, and you write down like just a little bit of a brief description about it. So that way we've got a million things going on every single day. You're not going to remember. You're like, oh, what was that half an hour ago? I can't remember. Let alone like an hour ago. Jesus. So you write it down, but if it's super important, then I bring it up the very next day or that moment. But if it's not important, I could just send it off, and I'm like, oh, by the way, let's do this. And it's a team building exercise. So I'm constantly doing SOPs. So if you don't know what that is, it's standard operating procedures. We have like a full catalog. So any virtual assistant that joins us, or even normal like local employees, they have like a catalog of like SOPs. It's so amazing. And just today we changed something. Like we're always evolving. I'm never just sitting down, like you probably know. I'm never just sitting down. I'm always like, oh no, this could be streamlined better, or this way could be done better. And and I even just literally got my phone and I recorded the computer. I was like, by the way, Marge, we're just doing this and doing that. And yeah, this is okay, perfect. And this is SOP 289. Okay, thanks. Stop, sent it to her, and I was like, cool, done. I'm not loading up Loom. I'm not getting my laptop out. I'm literally just going to record, So, like I said, I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit advanced, a little bit like pushed that way. But if you're starting out, I definitely recommend just writing out a list, right? So if you're thinking about somebody to managing your emails and replying back to your customers or your clients, and you just want them to do like an email nurture, then you write down the exact structure, like the template. So like day 1, day 3, day 10, like whatever you want it to be, and write it down. And then you can train them. So I always start with 1. So you don't want to hire 2 virtual assistants or 3 or 4 or 5. We just want to start with 1, because once you understand the process, then you can go straight up. Because as soon as you get 1, 3 months later, you're getting 2 or 3.
I love it. I love it.
They're so amazing.
Dude, Toni, I just want to like recap. First off, I just want to say thank you for all the great advice and the things that have really jumped out to me in this interview. For a recap, are one is the first thing you got to do is start figuring out what are you actually doing in your business day to day. It doesn't make sense to hire a virtual assistant if you don't even know what you're doing with your time or what you need to like to actually, what are the daily tasks that you're doing over and over and over again that somebody else could do? What are those repetitive tasks that you could be doing? Two is that if you figure that out and you actually track it all, you can actually build an entire team to help run your business virtually, which is like, yeah, you can do that. Toni is living proof. And it's a physical in-person business that Toni runs, which is a glass and aluminum business. So it's not like some theoretical like info product business out there. Like it's actual physical and still run by a virtual team, which is absolutely incredible. And then three, if you don't know what you don't know, that's where somebody like Toni comes in who can help you. And so Toni, I really want to talk about the business planner and kind of how you help people. So if anyone's out there who's like watching this, Toni, and they're like, whatever Toni's doing, I need that. And I need to learn how to do that. Like, how do you help people with the business planner, Toni, and who's like a good fit to reach out to you?
Yeah, thank you so much. And it's so cool. Like most of my clients actually come through people who watch this type of stuff because they're like, I had no idea that was an actual problem with my business. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's just talk about it. It's just really, really amazing. So the way I actually help people is I actually do the recruitment for my clients because there are so many, like I said, here's a screenshot of my all the online platforms you can go onto and go to it. You do that. If you post for a social media person, you are going to get over 500 resumes hit your inbox. Can you imagine filtering that? That is literally going to go.
You need a virtual assistant just to check all the emails that are coming in for you.
Yeah. And you know what? I do it all myself. I don't let a virtual assistant manage all my hiring processes virtually. She does all my in-house ones. So, and you know, so like I try to tell people that like, yeah, you can go out and you can find somebody, you can sit on, you know, Upworks and you can scroll and scroll and scroll and try and find people and they're suitable and not suitable. And so I actually take care of that for my clients. I also customize. So I actually customize a way for us to work together. So I actually literally sit down with you and we work out your business and we work out how the virtual assistant's going to work within your business using your softwares that you've got or your programs that you've got. You could be using anything in the world and I could be like, okay, well, let's create standard operating procedures for that, like SOPs for that. And then we sit down and I design it with you. I literally hold your hand because I didn't have that when I was going through all this pain. So there's people out there with a DIY or there's a done for you and I'm the done for you service.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. And it's so needed. Like as entrepreneurs, like you're, you know, I can just think of myself. I'm lucky to have a business partner, Alex. And so we've been able to to go off of each other. And I think it's so rare that people actually invest in getting like eyes in their business and how to like do this. And from somebody who's actually done it multiple times, like what an incredible opportunity to work with you, Toni. If anyone's out there right now, Toni, I'm sure we're gonna have people who are like, whatever Toni's doing, I need to like get on that level. What's the best way to either follow you, reach out to you? Like, where do you like to answer stuff or how would you like people to reach out to you?
Oh, look, privately message me, guys, because I'm in this group anyway with Will, because obviously Will and I go way back. So I'm a personal person. Reach out to me. I have so many people just privately DM me because there's no point saying, go to my website, go to this, just reach out to me because that's ultimately what you want. You know who I am, you know what I talk about. And if you need more information like a website or a landing page, I'll flick it through to you. Like that's absolutely fine. You know, whatever you want. You know, sometimes people need to have that reading or that thing. I'll give it to you. That's fine. Otherwise we can talk or we can communicate.
Toni's super approachable. If you reach out to Toni, she's amazing. I'd be remiss to not mention that you could also learn a little bit from Toni's podcast if you go to the Bee Planner and check out her podcast. If you're like, hey, I just want to hear a little more, like amazing stuff. Toni is a rock star. Toni, I just want to say I'm so humbled to have you on the show. It's so great to get to talk to you and finally get to like interview you virtually. And there's so much more we can dive into. I'd love to have you back at some point, talk maybe even deeper strategy. But just thank you so much for this. And Toni, any final words for people out there who are like chugging along in their business, like where Toni was with her real estate business, just like chugging, like just going, and can't see the end, can't see the light, like you guys couldn't see the light for a while.
Yeah. Look, and thank you for having me, by the way. I haven't been able to
Absolutely.
say that. So thank you so much. Like,
It's an honor.
guys, yeah, it's not pain. It shouldn't be painful to have a business, right? It shouldn't be stressful to have a business. It should be fun, exciting. You want to be waking up every single day and you want to be financially freed. Yeah, it might cost a little bit to get a virtual assistant or hire me to help you because, like there are expenses, but like the fact is it's always an investment, and it should be freedom for you and your family. And there will be light in the end of the tunnel, because that's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm living proof. I'm changing one business at a time. And whether or not you're a dinosaur or if you're a young, fresh whippersnapper, for all this world is going through virtually right now. And you know that this is the new age. If you want to jump on board, now is the time to do it before you're too late, really, because you're too stressed.
Yeah. What a tagline. I love that. I love it. Oh my gosh.
What did I say?
I don't know. We're gonna have to go back. Whatever it was like, ooh, yeah, that hit.
Yeah, maybe I should record. Yeah, we can record that. When it comes from the heart, I just say things, and it's just so like, oh, yeah, I'm just so passionate.
I love it. I want to say just a huge thank you again, Toni, to you for being on the show and on the podcast, and for taking time. By the way, it's 12 hours ahead of time of the East Coast here in the US, in Australia. So it's like 8 p.m. Toni's time. She's we got to get her to her wine and then to sleep. So you got to let her run. I want to give a shout out to people who hopped on live, who are here. We got Kelly Ayler, Javi, Cheryl. We had quite a few more people. Sarah, I can't see the rest of the comments. I know we had some other people that hopped on live. So I want to say thank you for hopping on live. Paul Oching's been on here. If you're listening to this on the podcast, be safe wherever you're at. If you're driving, if you're at work listening to this, hope that you're having a great day or evening, wherever you're at. And we will catch you guys on the next episode of the Healthy Funnel Podcast.